Good evening. Try that one more time. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. So I have the privilege to present on the All Means All committee. So I serve as a co-chair along with Gloria Jenkinson at Beechwood Middle School, and also Dr. Chris Gillespie, who is the ESOL and RTI coordinator. So I'm a former coach, taught English, high school English, and I was an assistant varsity boys basketball coach. And I want to frame it this way because I love sports and love athletics. And even as a good teacher, you're always looking for ways to get better. So that's the purpose of the All Means All committee. It's not that we believe that we're not excelling, that we're not doing things well. We just want to see how we can get better. So even after the best game that we might have coached and had a great victory, we're always going to look at film after the game and say, okay, sure, we won the game, but if we don't fix these poor habits, if we don't fix these things that we notice, we're not going to be prepared for the playoffs, or we're not going to be prepared to compete for a championship. So we look at this the same way, that we're doing things well. We want to see how we can do things even better. So as you see, the goal is to better meet the objectives of our mission and vision. And as you also see on the screen, you see the questions. So we took an inquiry stance. We're not trying to go into this thinking, here's what we need to fix, or here's what we want to work on. We want to ask questions to figure out, what is it that we're doing well? Why are we doing those things well? And how can we improve in areas that maybe we're not doing as well as we'd like to? So all of those questions are rooted in our mission and vision, looking for ways to cultivate that caring community for all learners, thinking about ways to remove obstacles and barriers for student learner outcomes. Also thinking about how do we enhance and develop our critical thinkers, and then finally, how do we know that we're empowering students to design the future, and if we know how we're doing that, we can even scale that even more. So of the committee, I serve as co-chair on, we have a wide variety of people who serve on this committee, and it's broken down into 3 smaller groups based on interests. And one thing, after we reviewed all data, group 1 decided, okay, our goal based on the data we've reviewed is trying to decide how we can increase the opportunity, knowledge, and access to rigorous and advanced coursework, which is something Dr. Phillips mentioned that was in the strategic plan as well. So these are connected and aligned with our strategic plan. Group 2 wanted to work closely with refining those practices to recruit and retain a more diverse teaching staff. So not only do we want to find more people to bring to our district, high quality educators, we want to figure out how can we keep them. We don't want to lose them, and that's going to help Ms. Price here in the Human Resources Department. Group 3, we wanted to identify how we can create and develop that environment where students thrive. So Dr. Guyton mentioned a lot of the social emotional learning, as well as Dr. Phillips. We're focusing on those things that help students feel a sense of belonging in their classrooms, in their schools, in their community, so that they can even excel beyond what they thought they could do. And it's been a great experience to work with so many people in so many different departments, and for us to take this inquiry stance over months. We started last school year, and now we're getting ready to approach the action planning phase. So we're not in the steps to say this is what we're going to do just yet, but that's where the phase we're entering in this fall. At this time, I will take questions.
Can you give us a feel for the enrollment and how that's either stayed constant or declined or increased because of all the COVID changes?
Sure. When you say enrollment, what area are you specifically thinking about?
You're referring to the rigorous coursework?
Rigorous coursework, okay. Piece. So that is, when you think about numbers, whether it's in elementary school, so thinking about how is EAGLES communicated to families and how do students have access to EAGLES. You think about middle school, how are students finding out how to try to attempt an honors course like Algebra 1 or English 1 in 8th grade, and then when you get into high school, how are students learning more about advanced placement, the IB program, honors courses, dual enrollment courses. So those are some of the things that we looked at as far as enrollment numbers, and figured out, okay, the students who were there, how did they get there? Was it counselors? Was it parents who already had opportunity knowledge? So those are things that we reviewed to decide that we want to work on this particular goal.
Can you give them a little information about dual enrollment?
Sure.
Specifically?
So dual enrollment, and I'll talk about this a little bit later as well, but we have some amazing partners that we work with. We work with Piedmont Technical College, Midlands Technical College, and also USC Sumter. And so over time, it's really grown. So I started my position last February and had to learn a lot very quickly in the midst of a pandemic. But what I found is that our students are excelling with dual enrollment opportunities and using that to enter college as sometimes sophomores, if not a little bit further, maybe even second semester sophomores, by getting so much coursework done. And many of them have a combination of advanced placement credit hours that they've earned and also the dual enrollment courses. That's really doubled in the last 3 to 4 years. So in 2017, 2018, there were about 350 students across the district who were taking at least one dual enrollment course. As of today, we're at about 700. And so as that grows, the demand and the logistics and the planning and all the things that it takes to communicate and support those students, those needs are changing every day. And so we're working very hard. We actually even just hired another person to assist us with dual enrollment who works with me at Gilbert High School to support students to make sure that progress monitoring doesn't fall through the cracks. So if there are students with an early alert who are not doing as well, we make sure we reach out to them to intervene before it gets too bad for them.
And I may have stepped on his later slide. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, Brandon.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.